蕭亮英語朗讀柯南道爾原著福爾摩斯探案魔犬驚魂 Extract from the Hound of the Baskervilles. The night was clear and fine above us. The stars shone cold and bright, while a half-moon bathed the whole scene in the soft, uncertain light. Before us lay the dark bulk of the house, its serrated roof, and the bristling chimneys hard outlined against the silver-spangled sky. Broad bars of golden light from the lower windows stretched across the orchard and the moor. One of them was suddenly shut off. The servants had left the kitchen. There only remained the lamp in the dining room, where the two men, the murderous host and the unconscious guest, still chattered over their cigars. Every minute, that white woolly plain which covered one half of the moor was drifting closer and closer to the house. Already the first thin wisps of it were curling across the golden square of the lighted window. The farther wall of the orchard was already invisible, and the trees were standing out of a swirl of white vapor. As we watched it, the fog wreaths came crawling round both corners of the house and rolled slowly into one dense bank on which the upper floor and the roof floated like a strange ship upon a shadowy sea. Sherlock Holmes struck his hand passionately upon the rock in front of us and stamped his feet in his impatience. If he isn't out in a quarter of an hour, the path will be covered. In half an hour, we won't be able to see our hands in front of us. Shall we move farther back upon higher ground? Yes, I think it would be as well. So as the fog bank flowed onward, we fell back before it until we were half a mile from the house, and still the dense white sea, with the moon silvering its upper edge, swept slowly and inexorably on. "We are going too far," said Holmes. "We dare not take the chance of his being overtaken before he can reach us. At all costs, we must hold our ground where we are." He dropped on his knees and clapped his ear to the ground. "Thank God! I think that I hear him coming." A sound of quick steps before the silence of the moor. Crouching among the stones, we stared intently at the silver-tipped bank in front of us. The steps grew louder, and through the fog, as through a curtain, there stepped the man whom we were awaiting. He looked round him in surprise as he emerged into the clear starlit night. Then he came swiftly along the path, passed close to where we lay, and went on up the long slope behind us. As he walked, he glanced continually over either shoulder like a man who is ill at ease. "Hist!" cried Holmes, and I heard the sharp click of a cocking his pistol. "Look out! It's coming!" There was a thin, crisp, continuous patter from somewhere in the heart of that crawling bank. The cloud was within 50 yards of where we lay, and we glared at it, all three uncertain what horror was about to break from the heart of it. I was at Holmes' elbow, and I glanced for an instant at his face. It was pale and exultant, his eyes shining brightly in the moonlight. But suddenly, they started forward in a rigid fixed stare, and his lips parted in amazement. At the same time, the other professional company gave a yell of terror and threw himself face downward upon the ground. I sprang to my feet, my inner hand grasping my pistol, my mind paralyzed by the dreadful shape which had sprung out upon us from the shadows of the fog. A hound it was, an enormous coal-black hound, but not such a hound as mortal eyes have ever seen.